everybody. Welcome to Family Face-Off. Courtney Laughlin, Craig Laughlin, week 4, episode 4 of our show down in our lovely basement.
Studio.
I call it the basement, he calls it the studio. Dad, how we doing?
We're doing good. It's been a good week. You know, you get to see the Caps, unfortunately, had to drop that one to the Bruins. But they did get a couple of points in that series. I look at it this week. Some snow, some cold weather, which I love. My new beer just came out, Wicked Wrister. Playing some cards, euchre. And also a birthday girl. So happy birthday. So it's been a busy week in the Laughlin household.
Beer, euchre. If you guys want to challenge us to a euchre game, we'll maybe take you on. Dad, I thought I won, though, on my birthday. I was the big champ.
You were the champ.
You mentioned your beer, Wicked Wrister. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later on to the show. So, Dad, let's get right into the Caps. They're 6-1-3. You mentioned it. They suffered, finally, their first regulation loss in their first 10 games. But give me kind of your thoughts, your thumbs up of what you've liked from the Caps the last week.
Okay, my quick take is Vitek Vanecek. I mean, how much more can this guy do? He's been stellar between the pipes. He probably didn't expect to be playing this much, but with Samsonov out due to COVID protocol, it could be a while till he returns and gets back into game shape. So Vanecek's carried the mail for the Caps, 5-0-2, stopping over 200 shots, was named Nhl Rookie of the Month, which is only the 4th goaltender to ever have that happen. The first was a good friend of mine, Bobby Mason, back in the day, won it in 1984. Wow. And it's impressive. It shows you that the league has taken notice that you've had an exceptional month. I had the opportunity, Court. It wasn't a month-long thing of playing well. I played well for 7 days, and I think the guys out west, a.k.a. Gretzky, Messi, and company, weren't playing. And I was actually named Player of the Week once.
Wow, and you remember it.
Oh, I thought it was the coolest thing. There was no social media, no nothing. The coach just came skating around in warm-up and practice and said, "Hey, Locker, congrats, you're Player of the Week." And I was like, really? I don't even think they sent out a press release, but I was.
Was it in the paper or something?
I think it might have been a byline at the bottom of the article, yes.
Boy, things have changed.
Yes, they have.
That is a huge honor, though, for Vitek Vanecek.
Yes.
And I believe he's the 8th Cap to receive that honor.
Yes. What's your take?
So my take for thumbs up, I'm going to go with Zdeno Chara. How about Big Z? He gets his first goal against the New York Islanders as a Washington Capital. He scores again versus his former team, the Boston Bruins, where he was a captain and a leader there. I just love, Dad, and this video even went viral on social media. When you saw Zdeno Chara score that goal, he immediately skated over to the bench. I thought the Caps were going to get a penalty because I thought all the guys were going to jump on the bench to congratulate him. The elation, the excitement, the happiness that the team had for their teammate made me happy because it proves and it shows just how tight-knit this group is with the new guys, with the adversity that they've had to face, with all these guys coming in and out of the lineup with the COVID-19 protocol. So I love it. My 2 thumbs up go to Zdeno Chara.
Absolutely. What a great pick. I think when you look at that, I love playing on teams, and I played on a lot like that had the same type of emotion for whoever scores. And that to me is the biggest thing, but there's something else that goes into that. He is revered in the locker room. He is revered around the NHL, and that just shows you how much they love Dad. A big hug for Dad, Big Z, and his kids. You couldn't beat that. The only thing that was missing was 18,000 plus fans to see that. So I thought it was spectacular. So that's the positives. You know, I pick a goalie. Vitek, you got Chara. What about our thumbs down? I'm starting with you.
Thumbs down. I mean, you talk about that game where Zdeno Chara scored his goal. Then you talk about the Boston Bruins game. 2 games in a row where they have blown 3 goal leads.
Ouch.
Not great, right? And as a player and as a teammate and as a coach, like, you don't ever want that to happen again. So there's some things that the Caps got to fix to make sure that that doesn't happen. It's the inability to hold on to leads. They just weren't attacking enough, right? So sometimes when you get up 3-0, you're like, hey, this is fun. Who wants to score next? We're dominating. And you forget about the little things.
The key thing you said, Court, hold on to leads.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be in the vocabulary of players, right? You want to add to your lead.
Right.
And they haven't been able to do that.
Yeah, and they haven't been able to just continue their game plan. And in the third period against Boston, they got away from all their little things. They were out-attempted. They were outshot. They didn't play their best hockey. You talk about it, Dad, all the time, where they're cheating, right? They're just not focusing on that system that got them there in the first place, and they get away from their game plan a little bit.
I used to always try to do that, Court.
Oh, cheat?
Oh, yeah. I'd fly the zone. Get me the puck, guys. Come on, I want to get on the score sheet too. No, it's a common thing that it's hard to teach a team that, but they are working on that. As Laviolette says every day after practice, we're still in the process of putting all the things together. My thumbs down goes to puck possession. And when you look at all the analytics and all the fancy stats and everything like that, number one, the Capitals have to win more draws to get puck possession. Mm-hmm. That's a key factor. Number two, they have to hold on to the puck longer and can't make just hope passes in either of the zones or any of the zones. And number three, Laviolette wants it. They want to play in the offensive zone.
Right.
And it got away from them because they were on their heels the whole game. And fans, it's a weird saying, you want teams on their toes. What toes means is you're on the attack, on the attack, on the attack. Heels, it's like you're in a defense-first mode, and it doesn't work. Teams are too skilled, too fast, everything else, that they can provide too much offense. So that's the one area I want to see cleaned up. Coming against the Rangers on the road, play a full 60 game, puck possession, make sure you have it. Make sure they play the so-called full 60 that every coach is looking for.
And we have seen some inconsistencies with the Caps in terms of great first periods, maybe not so great second periods. So again, Dad, it is that full 60 and just making sure that you're pressuring and attacking for the whole game.
And we know one player that always played a full 60. Definitely wasn't me. He wore number 12, Court.
Yes.
And isn't that cool that we are able to catch up to one of my favorite Caps?
Washington Capital, great. He also had some great insights on his former teammate, who's a guy that I mentioned, Zdeno Chara. So Peter Bondra, number 12.
Bonzai's in the house.
He's in the house. He joins Family Face-Off to give his takes on his first goal and Zdeno Chara. And he's just a great conversation.
And so much more. I mean, where he got his nickname. You got to listen to this, fans, because I was as surprised as anyone.
Nickname, I believe that was Dino Cicerelli. That was very early in my career, basically first month of me playing for Capitals. And I think Dino in the elevator maybe forgot my last name. So just call me Bonzai. Or something like bonds or whatever. And, as you know, like sometimes when things happen with no reason and it sticks to you. So that from that part of my season on, I was called Bonzai.
Take us back to your youth hockey days and growing up in Slovakia. Were you an NHL on your mind type of young player that you wanted to play in the NHL, playing youth hockey? And if you did, what was your favorite team? Like Ovi wore a San Jose Sharks jersey growing up. I don't know if you had a favorite team. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Well, okay, I didn't know what NHL was.
Wow.
I grew up in Czechoslovakia. At that time it was a communist country, so you don't really know what NHL is. Just the reason, Ovi is obviously different. I would say he's younger. Obviously, he had access to
internet, everything, right?
Yeah.
Social media. You can click on the button and you can watch the game. In my case, I saw the hockey basically playing Czechoslovakia against Russia, and that was sort of my growing up in my hockey. But I grew up in a small town, like 45, 50,000 people, and cold weather, right under mountains called High Tatras. So winter, obviously, we had a strong winter. So whatever, any lake and any small pond freeze, I was skating on it. So how I got to hockey, my older brother, his name is Juraj, he started playing hockey, he was 16. And I'm obviously 8 years younger, so I kind of start, going with him because he's supposed to taking care of me afternoons when my parents are at work. So he was skating with the older guys, and he always have to take me, and I was skating on the side. And I was so upset the older guys wouldn't take me to play with them because, as you know, I was too young to play against bigger boys. But just basically pond hockey, that's how I learned how to skate. I remember got my skates was on a key when you key in to your bottom hard shoe.
Really?
Yeah, this is special ski. Like you have one blade, and there is a special key when you mount on the bottom of your shoe.
You put it on your shoe?
Yeah, but
wow,
the shoe has to have a hard sole. So basically, those are little blades. You can take them anywhere in the pocket. You see any frozen little water or pond, you just go up there and skate, and that was good. So yeah, that's how I got to hockey, and I was amazed back home that time where the hockey players, like professional hockey players, they didn't have to go to work, and their job was to play hockey. I couldn't understand because I like something, like I had a love for hockey, and it was something special for me. I feel free to skate on the ice, and on the top of it, you don't have to work and get paid for what you're doing. That was just something. I always want to do that.
So were you always a natural goal scorer then when you would go out and you'd skate on this pond hockey? Did you always kind of have that knack for scoring goals?
No, really. From beginning, you learn how to skate, and I think I was a better skater. How I got to, when the Czechoslovakia, they had a great program. So how I got selected to hockey team or hockey class, the whole, I mentioned earlier, we had a small town where there's 40, 50,000 people. So they took all second graders and boys, and brought it to a hockey rink, and you just skate circle, and coaches look at you, write the name, and that time I already skate well, so they contact my parents, and they ask them if they will allow me to go join the class, which was my teammates. We studied together, we play hockey, we traveled together, so that communism or Czechoslovakia, that program was really well set up. And for me, just I have to show up a little talent and will to do well, and everything else was taken care of. They provide equipment, they provide buses. Or basically, when I went on a trip, my mom just gave me a little change to make sure I have access to buy myself a little extra, like a soda or anything else.
Well, let's fast forward now, Peter. You had a long journey like a lot of us have had trying to make it to the NHL. You get to the NHL, you become a Washington Capital. Can you pinpoint some great nights or great games in your mind as a Washington Capital?
Well, I can't avoid my first game. I wasn't sure what to expect from the game, especially my first game in the preseason. I never saw live in the National Hockey League game, like I mentioned earlier. And all of a sudden you dress up and you skate on the ice, and I had a great seat on the bench. And time to time I jump on the ice and skate. That was something special, Then you go, obviously you scored your first National Hockey League goal. It was obviously always a great memory. And I don't have a really specific one, but only those.
Well, tell me about your first goal.
Well, yes, I remember. I playing with Alan May. I think that we are on the fourth line. I'm not sure, against New Jersey Devils. I believe the goalie was.
How in the heck did you score playing with Alan May?
Well, I don't know. Was it turnover? Somebody probably misplayed the pass.
Okay, tell me about the goal now.
I remember just get a puck right on the blue line. It was probably right. You're right, after turnover, and I just skated to the middle and I shot, and the puck went in. It kind of, you don't know how to react. I was just really on the zone where you freeze, and all of a sudden I just put my hands up, and it happened. So
did you pick your number to wear throughout your career?
Number 12?
Yeah.
Did you pick your number?
I wish. No.
Oh.
Okay, that was just given to you.
Yeah, that was given to me. I remember Slago, Doc Scher.
Absolutely.
And, my first early days, obviously I didn't speak any English. And when Mike Pivonka wasn't around, so it was kind of tough to communicate with me. I really tried, but trust me, if you don't speak Russian or Czech, Slovak, or any Slavic languages, I'm sorry, I cannot make a conversation with you. But I think that time Pivo wasn't around, and Slago just looked at me, and he was going to ask me what number I won, and sure, here's number 12.
So let's flash forward to now the current Caps, and there's a player that is on the team now that I believe that you played with, and that's Zdeno Chara. You played with him in Ottawa, and I believe you played with them. I'm sure you crossed paths with
Worlds
and the
Olympics
national
or wherever.
teams. Do you have any insights on him? I mean,
his longevity has been incredible,
right? Do you have any insights about Zdeno Chara?
Of course I do. I know him well, and we are good friends. He's also my neighbor in Slovakia during the summer.
Nice.
So, but this is his whatever. He's his second house, so I don't see him much. But yeah, I talked to Z actually a lot during the season. We play against each other. We play, 2006 Olympics. We played together in Ottawa. So, I was lucky to play with him. The reason why, he brings a lot of leadership. He's like a coach sitting in the locker room, and a lot of young, even veteran players, they can look up to him and his preparation for a game, how he's working out, and how he's preparing himself. Obviously, give him that opportunity still in this age to play. And he was my roommate in Ottawa, and
Wow.
that time, obviously, NHL, you need to share a room. So, Z was nice enough to offer, obviously, bed in his room, not in the hotel room. So, anytime he walked in first to a room, that was a problem, because what happens? You don't find a light, and you make a couple steps, and you hit the low chandelier, and he was. Trust me, a couple of times happened. I told him, let me go first. So I tried to make a fun of Z because it's high, but yeah, obviously it's hard to play against him. I remember when Z broke a league with Islanders, we know each other, all the Slovaks. And I tried to give him advice, and I give him advice, probably good one, but not for me, good one. So I told him, Z, if you're gonna take it easy on me on the ice, or Ziggy Palfi, or any other Slovaks, because we are friends, trust me, I'm gonna laugh, and you're gonna be sitting with the coaches next day. You're gonna be -3 to watch video. So I remember later on in the season, we play against at Long Island. It hit me so bad in the corner. I think I flipped like a cat. Arms and knees. I really verbally give it to him. I was just yelling for probably whole game on him, just because he almost killed me. But we got I scored goals, so I was kind of a little bit happy. But trust me, it's hard to play against him. A couple times I know I was playing for Washington. He was playing in Ottawa, and I felt I had a breakaway. I see nobody, and all of a sudden, last second before I shot the puck, there was like just a long stick right on my arm, and just he twisted my arms. I almost shot to the corner from breakaway. So. You know what? And so we are lucky to have him. He can still bring a lot with his leadership, and also his reach on the ice. It's a tough to play against. Especially. And I've been watching for six games from the season we have, or 7. He play fast. Our system allow him even to pinch, and he doesn't look he lost a step or anything. Actually, he's an impact player. And he could, for sure, he's going to be helping us this year.
Peter, it was so great to have you on board. I like calling you Bonzai, but I know my daughter's going to call you Mr. Bondra or Peter.
I will, Mr. Bondra.
But thank you so much for joining Family Face-Off. We loved this segment.
That was so awesome to have Peter Bondra join our show. Great insights about Zdeno Chara. I never thought about that when you were that tall. Hitting some things on the ceiling. Listen, I'm 5'2". I never have those problems, Dad.
6'9" does that, and he's the biggest man ever to play in the NHL. There's been some guys 6'7", 6'8", but never 6'9", and what an athlete he is. But Peter Bondra, man, I mean, when you're in the 500 goal club,
yeah,
and just about everyone in that club, other than I think 4 in the history of the game, are not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
I've got Peter Bondra's back. I want him to at least have his jersey retired here.
Yeah.
And then if he ever gets the nod to be in the Hall of Fame, it would be a great day for all Caps fans.
So we thank Peter Bondra. It was a great interview. Thank him for joining Family Face-Off.
Hey, where are you going, Court? Hold on here. Wait a second. I know what's up. It's time now to head over to our coaching board. This is the first time in our 4th episode she's finally taken the main stage. None other than Coach Courtney. And I love what she's focusing on today, fans. She's focusing on why the Caps D have been so good creating offense.
One of the things that everyone's been raving about is how good the Caps D are in terms of joining the attack and creating offense under Peter Laviolette's new system. Case in point, Caps defensemen have 29 points in 10 games, and a Caps D has scored a goal in the last 5 games. But what are they doing differently this season in terms of the system of creating offense? Well, it all starts on the forecheck. If you take a look here, this is the Caps' opposition of how they would half the ice and split the ice. When the Caps forecheck and they pressure, they have F1 going hard, they've got F2 supporting, they've got F3 coming into the middle, and then you've got your D and your D on the forecheck. When the opposition tries to get out of the way from this forecheck, if they rim it around the boards hard, you'll see the Caps D go. Immediately they go, they slam the boards, and they take away basically any lane and any area that this puck can get out of the zone. By doing that, they're helping keep pucks alive. They're helping to keep pucks in the offensive zone. But the key guy as to why this is successful is because of F3. F3 communicates. He sees that this D is pinching. He now fills into this spot here, and it's all about support. The Caps have done such a good job of keeping pucks alive, joining in the attack. A lot of times, too, if you see this D slam the wall and he gets possession, he'll join in on the attack. He'll start a cycle. He'll move the pucks below the bottom of the circle here in their offensive zone. So great job by the Caps overall offensively, but a big part of that is how active the Caps D have been under Peter Laviolette.
Good stuff as always, Courtney. You obviously are tuned in to every game I do.
What? I didn't steal from you.
You didn't? Slamming the wall, closing the wall off. You've got a little bit of me in you.
What was that, like your old telestration days?
I
That's
know,
what I
don't
felt
do
like.
that anymore.
I
It's
know.
all pre-done,
Well,
which is cool.
well, maybe
but that was a
one-
good segment, Court. Fans, it's going to be a daily segment now.
Well,
Coach
maybe
Courtney.
one of these days, Zad, I'll let you come over to my whiteboard. But just like my room where you can't go in it, you can't go to the coaching board.
You got it. I'm in.
All right, Dad, what do we got going on here? We've talked a lot of hockey on today's episode of Family Face-Off, but it's beer time. One of our favorite segments, Lockers Libations. We've got an update of your beer, Wicked Wrister, a collaboration with AstroLab.
Yeah, isn't it cool? I mean, this is a hat trick right here, right? The three of them. Wicked Wrister was put together when I went to AstroLabs in Silver Spring, a great, great brewery. And I sat down with them, with Matt, the brewmaster, and Emma, one of the co-founders, and I said, I like my IPAs a certain way. And you know exactly how I like them. I like them a little fruity, hazy, New England style. And they came up with an absolute winner. It's getting rave reviews on all the beer forums, which is very cool, including Untapped. People are raving about it. We had a limited run, I think, of 220 or so cases of it. And what's even cooler about it, 50% of the proceeds go to the Laughlin Family Foundation in our fight against rare cancer. So if you're in Silver Spring, drop in there. If you can order online, they do deliver in a small area around the brewery. But what was cool, Court, is I dragged you out early in the morning.
Dad was like, it'd only be about an hour.
And how long was that day?
Oh, solid 6 hours,
And
right?
we got some great video that just shows you the type of stuff we did. We helped we helped put the cases into the cooler. I thought the filling process on the assembly line and the labeling machine.
It was cool.
That was very cool, wasn't it?
So we literally had a hand in canning every single one of these beers when we went out to AstroLab. And it was a really cool process. And it's kind of crazy to think that not everything's done by a machine, right? So even the guys, Matt and the guys that were working there, were literally putting every single can on the conveyor belt and at the end of the line. So then the beer goes into the can, then it gets put on the label spins it around the can. And at the end, you and I are taking the cans and putting them into the cases and literally pressing the plastic pieces that go on them. So it was a full day's work. I think my right bicep is still sore from pressing down.
I thought at one point it brought me back to college. Obviously, bagels and beer at 10 or 10:30 in the morning. But then it also, I thought of it, and for all the fans out there, and I know you're all probably young and all that stuff watching our show, but some of the older aging ones like me remember the great Lucille Ball show. I Love Lucy, where she was on a chocolate line, and the line was going so fast she had to eat them. because she was too slow at putting the chocolates into the box. And that's what I felt like. I thought,
Why? Because you needed to drink the can?
yeah, I take one can, I drink out of the next. It was just so much fun, and those people are dear friends now. It was great to get to know Emma and Matt. Just a wonderful brewery, and please help support small business and support the Family Foundation. We had an absolute blast.
It was a great day, Don. Like you said, Court just joined me for an hour. Turned from 10 to 4:30.
We were even, 4:30 or 5 by the time we got home.
It was an amazing day, though, just to be there. I just want to make a couple notes about where you can get the beer. You said that you can get it at, obviously, the AstroLab tap room in Silver Spring. You can also order it online. But this is really cool because they've also now distributed it to retail shops around the DMV.
Name
so
some
if
of
you're
those.
in the DC area, you can go to Craft Beer Cellar, which is right in my neighborhood, right at the end of 8th Street. They sell great beer. Magruder's DC, Old Provisions, one of my favorites. Church Key is also selling it, and then Shelter will be selling it on draft. So if you're in the DC area, that's where you can find it. And then in Maryland, we've got downtown Crown Gaithersburg, Whitey's in Linthicum Heights. We got Dawson's Liquor in Severna Park, 424 Wine. Dad, that's right in our neighborhood in Crofton.
How come I know all those 4 places really well?
How do you? I don't know. We've got District East in Frederick and the Wine Source in Baltimore. So
thank you for everybody carrying it, and thank you very much for AstroLabs for this wonderful collab. And as you can see, Matt and Emma, I'm running low already.
Must mean it's a good beer, 7.1% hazy IPA. It is absolutely delicious.
It is. And you're not a beer person.
I'm
you
not,
like it.
and I'm not. And I was drinking it, Dad, like as you said, in the assembly line on that day when we were canning it last week. So get your Wicked Wrister, limited supplies while it's still lasting. Dad, you also signed some of the cans, so you guys might get one.
And I'm going back to re-sign them because the labels were wet coming off the canning assembly line. So I will be going back into town and signing each 4-pack. As long as my wrist holds out, I'll be fine.
So a wonderful collab for a cause that is near and dear to our heart with the Laughlin Family Foundation. So fun day. One other thing, Dad, that I forgot.
Oh.
They're also auctioning off one of your jerseys to help charity. So you can go check out your jersey at biddingowl.com/wickedwrister.
Replica jersey, number 18, which is cool, but all done up. Beautiful red jersey, old school style. And it's going on, I think, for the next several days. So please check it out and please help. All the money goes to the foundation to try to win the fight.
So, Dad, no beers for you yet because we still got a little bit more hockey to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
The Caps rode ahead. They've got the New York Rangers. They got the Philadelphia Flyers. The Rangers are an interesting one to me because actually I thought that they were going to have a much better season than they are having. I actually kind of had them as a bubble team that might make it in the playoffs. Now they're sitting at the bottom of the division.
Very young, little turmoil with the D'Angelo situation, getting in a fisticuff with one of his teammates after a game that they lost, and he was a -6 overall in the season, so they waived him. He's not going to be in the lineup. They've already said Tony D'Angelo will never be a Ranger again. So there's some turmoil, but the thing about them is they got some great leadership, and they got, obviously, the Breadman Panera, and they got Chris Kreider. And one of my favorite players who's off to a very slow start is Mika Shabanizad. He's only got 1 goal through the first 9 games. That's a guy, Court. You remember one of the biggest games of the year last year. Didn't he put up a 5 spot?
He did.
Right? Yep. Including the overtime winner. Like, they can't let him wheel and deal because that is one very talented player, and he's ready to break out. The Rangers won one of their first 6 games or whatever. They've got points in their last 3. It's going to be tough in MSG. And then, of course, the Caps return home for the Battle of the Big Boppers, the Flyers, on Sunday and Tuesday.
Well, because I think when you look at it, it's Boston, Flyers, Caps as the top of the division,
and
right?
They're going to battle all the way down to the end to see who ends up first.
The hardest question I'm ever going to ask you on this show.
Okay. Yes, I love my beer.
What do you think of Gritty?
Gritty? I think Gritty may be one of the greatest mascots.
Yep.
Just for what he does. He's out there every day. It seems to post stuff that's absolutely world-class funny. I laugh all the time. Yes, he's a good one, but he's not going to be in Washington, fans. We may see Gritty when we play up in Philadelphia, but not this Sunday and Tuesday.
Well, if you need a good chuckle, check out Gritty's social media pages because He's a funny one,
He
Dad.
is a funny one.
So you can catch all those games. And, Dad, you'll be back to work. You had a nice couple days off, but back to work. Games, obviously, on NBC Sports
But I am off
Washington.
Super Bowl Sunday, right?
You are Super Bowl Sunday. Who's your pick?
My pick.
You going to 4
Kansas
against Brady?
City Chiefs.
Interesting.
Mahomes, the younger quarterback. I've got Kansas City. I like their style.
I'd like to see somebody else win it. Not that I don't like Tom Brady and not that he isn't a GOAT. Let's have somebody else win it. How about that?
Yes.
But not have somebody else win the Caps games because we hope the Caps win their games. Right, Dad?
They got to win.
They got to win. Keep getting those points in their very tight division. Thanks for tuning in on this week's of Family Face-Off. Don't forget to get your Wicked Wrister beer. It's delicious. We love beer. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us on Family Face-Off.
Bye, everybody.